Like,
We
he's
bond
right.
right there. We
Yeah.
bond right
Like
there.
Vietnamese culture and Greek culture, very, very similar.
Yeah.
Some of Rubie told me all about like growing up in Vietnam, like driving around on her scooter. How one of the things that shocked me was they're dealing with flooding.
Oh yes, I'm about to say that. Yes, we swim in the flood. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I thought we had bad weather in Boston where I grew up, but it's worse in Vietnam.
Nope. You haven't.
Because I used to complain about the snow, and that's how it came up.
Nothing yet.
I complained about the snow that we get in Boston, and Ruby was like, "Snow, we have floods."
Yeah, it's getting worse. But moving along.
Moving along, okay. Last thing that we wanted to highlight is this idea of 2 cups in a bowl. So we briefly talked about it, I think in the first episode it was. And we just want to elaborate on it more. So just to recap, in our relationship, we can think of it almost as its own entity. The union of ourselves. In our case, we're married, so our union is
It's a bowl.
is solid. It's a bowl. When you're in a relationship and you're dating, it's not so solid. Because there's not that promise that you're going to stay together. Whereas with us, it's a promise. We're going to stay together.
It's not just a promise, it's a covenant.
It's a covenant. Yeah, great word. But the bowl doesn't exist in and of itself. In other words, I have to bring myself, that is to say my cup.
Yeah.
Because the bowl is somewhere far away.
Yeah.
Or it's somewhere off in the center. And I need to go fill up my cup and then bring what I have to our bowl. And we share that bowl.
Yeah.
But my cup is me. So if I'm empty and I'm not bringing anything to the bowl's not getting filled. If Ruby's full and she's bringing her cup to the bowl, well, then I'm not doing my part, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Right? So we both have an obligation to bring ourselves to our marriage. And that bears with it a lot of responsibility, not just to Ruby, but also to myself.
That's right. And we believe as a powerful people, we take responsibility with our life. And we, in terms of, taking care of yourself, of myself, like I understand that, we have a covenant now. My life looks so different with you, and my schedule changed, but it doesn't mean that I stop developing who I am or stop growing myself. And so be intentional in keep growing, because not just you. I'd get to know Drake is interesting, but also like the I feel for me the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself is to discover who you are. To discover your talents and your gifts and grow into that, because nobody gonna do it for you. Like we're in charge of ourselves, and we have that opportunity to do it. And for me, I think it's more attractive when we continue to grow, and then the partner get to understand it or get to know it. So we believe that 2 cups, 2 powerful people know how to take care of themselves and fill them with positive input and growing, and whatever that overflow from that cup, you get to bring it to the bowl. Because if my cup filled with dirt, and if I don't take care of myself, it just filthy, then what can I bring to the bowl? Pretty nothing much. If it's empty, but if it overflow with dirt, then I bring that to the bowl too. So I have to be very intentional, taking care of myself, and believe that, and trust that Drake will do the same. One thing that I was struggling, and I think I learned from other people, that you don't lower your standard. If your standard is high, good and keep that way, and expect and expect the other person do the same thing. Well, I also ask myself, what if the person, doesn't reach that standard? What should I do? Well, the same thing. Keep the standard. And
Yeah, you have to let the other person know. Hey, marriages get ended like that.
Yeah.
They can, at least, when the expectations aren't met. Mm-hmm. I know I was just recently talking to I'll keep their information private, but they're going through very, very serious problems in their marriage. And a lot of that was after discussing with them, with him for 15 to 30 minutes. A lot of that was based off of expectations not being met. Mm-hmm. And that festering can feel stifling, especially if your partner's dreams aren't being met.
Yeah.
So and you have to constantly check with your partner. You have to constantly check with your spouse. Hey, are your dreams being met? What are your dreams? Mm-hmm. What do you want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished? How can I, help you? I mean, ultimately, that's your partner's responsibility, but you're not just living in a vacuum anymore. You're in a relationship. So if your partner feels like, hey, I would love to get my master's degree, for example, but the kids are making that difficult. Mm-hmm. Well, you have to work together to find a way to make that dream happen.
Yeah. And I think, coming to the relationship, I will ask myself, like, what do I bring to the bowl, and how can I serve you in the relationship instead of like, what can I get from you?
Right. And you should want to see your spouse achieve their dreams and achieve. I mean, that's sexy, right? If your spouse is like living their best life and like, hey, babe, I just got this deal done. I just opened up this business. This business is doing this kind of,
Yeah.
There's no jealousy there. At least there shouldn't be. Hey, yeah, I'm proud of you. Good for you.
Yeah. No, not so good for you. Good for us.
Good for us.
Because 2 in 1 now.
Yeah, good for you. Good for us.
Yeah.
And that drives a relationship, and you see that success in your spouse, and should motivate you. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people also, they see that success in their spouse, and they get jealous, or they get like insecure. No, that's not the proper response. The proper response is, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the things that you accomplished because we do it together.
Yeah, it's you mean your teammate. So if they win, you win too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's so there's so many things that we can bring to our marriage, but we have to recognize, like, what do we need as individuals? Because we're still individuals.
Yeah.
But our relationship, our coexistence is an independent almost thing that, in a weird way, it's like tied, but it's also its own thing. Yeah. If that makes sense.
And I think you brought up very, crucial and very essential point, is that do you know each other's dreams? Do you know what make the other person come alive? Because without doing that and support them, it won't last. Because I love how Drake's so supportive. He said, like, whatever that you decide to do, I will be there for you. And that is one thing that I make very clear in our relationship when during the dating stage, that I say, like, this is my calling, this is what I see myself doing, and what do you think about this? And that's in my testing points. Like, if he not allow me to do whatever that so dear to my heart, then I won't. I don't think the relationship will go, because if I chose him, then I have part of Rubie is die. Actually, most of my heart is my Rubie is die, because I neglect what make me come alive.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
Yeah, and that can't happen. You can't ask your partner to give up who they are to be to be the us.
Yeah.
They still need to bring who they are to the table. Their cup still needs to be present, and their cup still needs to be full. You know, you
Yeah.
can't fill their cup for them,
Nope.
and your bowl is going to be empty, or just your stuff's going to be in there, and you're like, I got, 2 cups myself. I don't even need your cup. That's not how that works.
Yeah. So basically, we have each of us have responsibility to fill our cup, to be powerful, to be grow into who we are supposed to be, and from that it overflows to the bowl. So if your bowl have some issue right now, maybe look into the cup. Like, okay, what is it in there so that I can become a better person, that I can give it or offer or serve my spouse.
Yeah, very well said. All right, I think at this point we can move on to this week's assignment. Yeah, so we got this week's assignment. Super excited about this one. So after a little bit of like, hey, what's this week's assignment going to be? We finally came up with this one. So going back to the beginning of our conversation of this podcast, we talked about how Rubie and I managed to stay connected over the deployment. And one of that was we created a list of things to do together. Now, during our discussions, we'd be like, oh, it'd be so much fun if we could go on a hike at this place. Well, we can't really do that right now because I'm out in the middle of the ocean. So we kept track of a list of all the things that we wanted to do together. So we would like to encourage you guys to create a list of 5 new things that you and your spouse or your soon-to-be spouse or your aspiring spouse have not done before this upcoming month, or maybe 2 or 3. The idea is to do something realistic, things that you could feasibly do within a short amount of time. And then share with your spouse how those events helped you to learn more about them. So it could be something like, hey, I've always wanted to go kayaking.
Yeah.
Oh, you never been kayaking either? We should totally go kayaking this weekend. Or it could be fishing.
Yeah.
Some type of activity, dance class.
Yeah, both of us that will get that part of your partner that you never seen it before. And I think it's sweet because you know what? If you guys both do something new together, you share your first thing. Like, when is your first kayak, for example? I did it with my spouse. That's special.
Yeah, it can be a totally fun and new experience. And you can, through that new experience, you can learn like, I never knew that you wanted to go to a cooking class, or I never knew you had this this desire to do painting. Oh, we did a pottery class together.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
It was really, out of nowhere, I was like, let me look on Eventbrite and find out what kind of events are there, because my intention was for us to do a painting class. But then I was looking and I was like, you know what, pottery? I never done that. That sounds like fun. And we did a pottery class and we made our own pottery and we have it in the house now.
Yep.
Yeah, super fun. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was a great date. So share with us on our social media. You can go on YouTube, you can go on Facebook, Instagram, and on our website. You can find www.engagingwalk.com, and you can share with us your experiences. Let us know what you did and how much fun it was.
Yeah, we will read every single comment and messages,
We're super looking forward to it. Yeah, and so with that, we would like to thank you for tuning in. We hope that you can make our engaging walk, that you can take our engaging walk and make it your own.
And stay tuned for the next episode where we'll discuss about breaking down barriers.
Don't forget to click the follow button. And this is Drake and Rubie with Engaging Walk.
Oh, again, don't forget to subscribe us on Facebook, Instagram, and visit our website, engagingwalk.com.
This is Drake and Rubie, and we are signing out. Thank you.
Bye-bye.